ANC will hold its National Executive Committee Lekgotla this weekend, and that will influence and shape the Cabinet Lekgotla this coming week. So Party President Cyril Ramaphosa heads into the Lekgotla having signed the NHI Bill, the Bela Bill and the Expropriation Bill into law as acts of the Constitution. Let's cross to SABC News senior reporter Samkele Maseko for an update. Samkele, good morning. Thank you for joining us at this hour. Perhaps you could just give us an overview of what we can expect for this Lekgotla, what's set to top the agenda, given the ANC's key priorities that had been outlined during January 8th. Any concerns as well?
Well, Liesl, the ANC, at this ANC NEC Lekgotla, top of the agenda is the revival of the South African economy, is the ailing state of South African municipalities and poor infrastructure of these municipalities when it comes to water provision. About a year ago, in this ANC NEC Lekgotla, the NEC's National Executive Committee Lekgotla did task the Minister of Electricity and Energy within the country, Dr. Ramaphosa, to resolve the energy crisis. South Africa has gone up for over 300 days without load shedding. That has been an achievement which the governing party prides itself on. They will be looking onto building onto those particular initiatives that have been started by the power utilities executives and also the board and also the CEO, the group chief CEO, Dan Morokane, and also the minister. They will be looking to the Minister of Finance to speak on the structural reforms that are also being implemented in government, particularly after South Africa's impressive showing at the World Economic Forum, where you saw the Glencore CEO congratulating President Cyril Ramaphosa that there is a renewed hope within South Africa, particularly saying that his ministers, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Electricity and Energy, Dr. Ramaphosa, and the Minister of Trade and Industry and Competition within the country, Parkstow, that they know what they are doing and they are on the ball, they are on the pulse when it comes to the revival of the South African economy and implementing those structural reforms. You look at the work that is currently being done within state-owned enterprises and how they are relatively performing well after their bad performance over the past 15 years, particularly the South African Airways. That will be also highlighted within this National NEC Lekgotla of the ANC. But at the top of the agenda will be water provision, the failure of municipalities and the crumbling infrastructure that these municipalities are currently going through, and the financial muscle of these particular municipalities, looking at their balance sheet, which is not particularly good at this point in time.
Right, thanks, Samkele, for that. I wonder also if we're going to looking at the formation of GNU on the back of, the bills that had been signed in by the president, the future of GNU as well. What's been reflected on that front?
Well, Liesl, in the political report, the opening remarks of the president of the ANC, when he touches on the current balance of forces domestically and internationally, he will touch on those issues. He will touch on his recent visit to the World Economic Forum, where we addressed knowing that South Africa has the presidency of the G20, and we will be hosting the G20 later on this year in his capacity as head of state. When it comes to issues of these particular dynamics within the government of national unity, he will be paying attention to the press briefing that will be happening at 2 o'clock this afternoon of the Democratic Alliance, where they will speak. This is speaking on the president signing that particular expropriation bill, looking at the dynamics that are currently there, the battles between the Minister of Public Works and his deputy, Sihle Zikalala, and Dean McPherson of the Democratic Alliance, who is the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure within the country, Sihle Zikalala being the deputy minister and also ANC NEC member, welcoming the signing of this particular expropriation bill into an act of law by President Cyril Ramaphosa, which will permit government to expropriating pieces of land in the public interest with nil compensation, which is a hot potato. And what is the Democratic Alliance saying on that particular issue? Saying that they are considering going to the Constitutional Court over this particular matter to check its constitutionality, knowing that they are unhappy about the Bela Act that is now an act of law. They are unhappy about the NHI, which has also been implemented by the current ANC administration and government in collaboration with the Democratic Alliance against this particular issue. What will be the role of the clearing house as well, which compromises of ANC leader Mdumiseni Ntuli and other leaders such as Helen Zille of the Democratic Alliance when it comes to a policy framework? You do know that the Bela Act was fully implemented after it went through the clearing house as well. This instance, we've heard very little about the clearing house when it comes to this expropriation act that will permit for expropriation of land with nil compensation in the interest of the public.